Sonic 06 is one of those games that I love, but at the same time I hate it so much. I mean, I hate it because of how it turned out. It could have been a good game, but all of the potential was wasted. So today, instead of making a 50-minute review of me tearing apart a game that has already been beaten into the ground by thousands of videos, I am deciding to make a video about the legacy of the game and why I think it's important. But before we can get into that, we need to start from the beginning. Back in 2006, Sonic Team was making the jump into the next generation of consoles. With the next generation of hardware, you can do a lot more with a game. In other words, you can get a lot more ambitious with what you develop in the game. This was great for Sonic Team because they really needed to come back big with this next game. If you guys didn't know, back then Shadow the Hedgehog's reception was pretty mixed at the time and it somewhat divided the fan base. I mean, a Sonic character holding a gun is definitely going to do some damage. So Sonic Team needed a way to bring back the old fans and somehow keep the new fans happy at the same time. So what was Sonic Team going to do? Sonic Team was going to do what any other game development team would do. They were going to make a fantastic game to blow everybody's socks off. So that is why they planned to reboot the franchise with even more ambition than all of the previous Sonic games. This game had so many ideas out on the table and it was truly going to be the biggest game Sonic Team has ever made. However, when development of the game started, there was a few issues that rose up. Number 1. They couldn't make a Wii port of Sonic 06, so that game became Sonic and the Secret Rings. And since Sonic Team delayed Sonic and the Secret Rings to 2007, they were at their wits' end of delaying games. Number 2. Sonic Team ordered that the game comes out on Sonic's 15th anniversary, because they refused to have a Sonic anniversary without a Sonic game. I mean, like, what? A Sonic anniversary without a Sonic game, like, come on, no way they would ever do that, right? Number 3. Sega was feeling cute one day, so they decided to do a deal with Microsoft that said that the game was coming out in 2006. It also said that the game was going to be marketed primarily as a Sonic game for the Xbox 360. I do see a lot of Microsoft hate for this. Guys, Microsoft did not make this game happen. Microsoft is a business, and they wanted Sonic, which at the time was one of the biggest and most respected gaming icons to have a game that was primarily advertised on their console. Sega should have looked at the deal and then looked at their unfinished game and decided that it was way too unrealistic to get the game out by the deadline. Sadly, Sega didn't do that, so here we are. The game is released and has gotta be one of the biggest moments in the gaming industry. Sonic, which was one of the biggest gaming icons at the time, has just put out one of the worst games of all time. This did some damage, and it pretty much destroyed Sonic's reputation. However, 2006 was not the end of Sonic 06. The game has carried on a legacy that has survived for so long. It's kind of sad to see every game in the future be dragged down by this game. Every time somebody comments on a new Sonic game, we are always reminded of that time Sonic kissed a Final Fantasy character. We will never forget Sonic 06. It will always be there. This game will live on forever, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this ends up in a history book about the past of gaming. However, there is a soft side to every monster. While Sonic 06 may have gotten a lot of things wrong, the game also got a ton of things right. I personally do not like the game myself, but I feel a natural attraction towards the game. I remember as a kid thinking that the lineup of Sonic, Shadow, and Silver looked so cool. I legit made the wallpaper of my old laptop a picture of these three characters standing next to each other. It looked so iconic, and I'm not exaggerating, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in this series. This trio was a great idea, and all they had to do was make a serious and complex story around the characters. And when it comes to story, it's not completely terrible either. Silver's story could have used a little bit more polish, but that was normal at the time because we have always had stories like the adventure games where there was random stupid plot holes. My only issues with the story was honestly just the entirety of Sonic's story. Any other issues I had was with the continuity, which is irrelevant because this game was meant to be a reboot. They truly had something going with this story. The best parts of the story was that Mephiles was actually a threatening villain, Shadow's story was absolutely perfect, and the final boss was just amazing. The strongest thing that this game has is the ideas for the levels. The levels are all drastically different from each other. Sonic Team put their 110% in every single level and all of them stand out and they are all iconic. The greatest examples of this would be Crisis City and Kingdom Valley. These levels are absolutely beautiful and completely unique. I have never seen anything like this in a Sonic game. Also, the levels in this game has their own unique formula. Many people say that Sonic 06 used the adventure-style gameplay, and while I do think that it was inspired a lot by the gameplay, I do not think that it's a faithful recreation of the adventure formula. The adventure gameplay uses the spin dash and other moves to manipulate the level design through the use of gravity. You also have to earn speed in the adventure games. In Sonic 06, you reach top speed within a second. And this may sound like I'm bashing the game, which I'm honestly not, because none of this is bad. Sonic 06's formula isn't bad at all. It's still a fast action platformer and the skill comes from other sources like the use of your homing attack and your ability to do cool tricks to reach shortcuts within the level. The point is Sonic 06 was unique and it could have led the future of how Sonic's gameplay was handled. I really wouldn't mind that either. This gameplay would have been awesome if it was completed. How would I know? Well, as many people know, there is a great fan project called Project 06, and the gameplay here is phenomenal. Like, when I was getting footage for this video, I seriously lost myself. These levels are that good. And honestly, Project 06 is so good that if they did this for the rest of the game, this would honestly be in my top 10 favorite Sonic games. Project 06 is a dope project. If you have not played it, go play it right now. It is so perfect. It's well put together, it's beautiful, and it gives so much control to the player. We could have really built the franchise off of this gameplay, and I would have been perfectly fine with it because it's so good. Another thing is we could have easily introduced gimmicks into the gameplay without breaking up the pace of the game. This really could have been the future of Sonic. Which is the next segment of this video. I have been saying the phrase, could have been, for this whole video. This game could have been great. Sonic could have been respected very well to this very day. I know that some of you will be saying that it doesn't matter what it could have been, it's about what it is. And that's very true. I agree. I don't really enjoy playing most of this game, but I still recognize the great things about Sonic 06. But it's perfectly fine if someone enjoys this game because of the ambition and what it could have been. There is nothing wrong with that. Something that I'm about to say that you guys may disagree with is that a decent game with no ambition is worse than a bad game with great ambition. If you can feel the ambition, there is nothing wrong with enjoying the game more because of it. There is also the fact that some people have a high tolerance for glitches and bugs. If you have a high tolerance for that, quite frankly, this game is awesome. Seriously, if this game was finished and didn't have as many bugs and glitches, also it didn't have the scene with Elise, this game would have been highly praised. So if somebody has a really high tolerance for glitches, I could seriously believe that you actually had a ton of fun while playing this game. In fact, I know somebody who could tell you all about it.
Oh, me? What's going on, guys? It's me, SpeedSuperSonic, and if you know something about me, you know I love Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. A game of ups and downs and all-arounds, if you will. I know, I'm very funny. Matt went into pretty good detail about the game's history and legacy. Well, one of the reasons it's had such a legacy is not just because of that negativity that came from the game's response, but also the recent uprising in fans that have come along the way. Something that will happen in fan bases is younger fans who grew up with certain pieces of media will grow older, and if they're still a part of the fan base, will express their love for what they grew up with, why they think it's good. So while older generations of Sonic fans who might be in their late 20s, early 30s did not like this game, a lot of people my age, early teenagers, young adults, have started to express why they love the game. Me personally, I can acknowledge that this game is very flawed, but it's still my favorite. But I want to elaborate further upon the things that make this game truly great and why some people truly do look back on this game as a cult classic. The main things I look for in a game is the gameplay and the story. In Sonic 06, there are plenty of different gameplay styles, the main three being Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. All have somewhat unique differences. Sonic is your standard Sonic the Hedgehog platformer, Shadow is very similar but has a different type of moveset, being more combat focused, and Silver is much slower but he has this like kinesis powers, which is really cool. And there are a bunch of other characters that you play once in each story, and then you can play them for one last time in the final story. end of the world. Are all of these perfect? No, there's really good ones like Blaze and really bad ones like Amy. But they're all very unique, different, trying to be their own thing. They're not just a copy and paste of a Sonic or Shadow or Silver. Blaze in particular, she's so different and unique, and it's amazing to play through her level of Wave Ocean. Yes, they're not all perfect, there could be some tuning, making Silver faster, but I don't know. Shadow and Sonic are very fun, and it's not just the way they control and play. I really love the levels, the theming, and the design of them too. They're so vast and grand, and all are so unique in their very own way. One of, if not my favorite Sonic level ever, is Kingdom Valley, particularly Sonic's Kingdom Valley. There's so many different sections in it. You have the first Sonic section, then you have the Silver section, then you have this other normal Sonic section, and then you get to the high-speed Mach section, which is without a doubt the best Mach speed section in the game. It's so diverse, you can tell how much effort Sega put into this level. But I also mentioned that there is a story in this game, and I will admit, it's not a great story. As a writer and filmmaker, I know what makes a good story, and unfortunately this doesn't have a lot of those key elements I look for. It's very sloppy in some areas, but one in particular is Shadow's story. The character development he goes through and just the theming around it is beautiful. Methodless is a perfect villain, and he doesn't need to be sympathetic at all. He's just an agent of chaos, and it's captured perfectly. The story's not perfect, it's very flawed, but this story in particular just hits different. It's not perfect, but it has that ambition that I really like to see. It wanted to do something, it's just I don't think they had the people who knew how to make it work. I'd like to see Sonic and Sega take a crack at it again. But what I can say is that it's a better intertwined story than any Sonic game ever. Yes, better than the adventure games. The adventure games are just from different perspectives. These have their own different stories that simultaneously tie into each other, and it's so amazing to see. I'm not saying it is a better story, I'm just saying it ties into each other better. There's a lot of stuff this game does right, and a lot of people just simply overlook it. Everybody goes like, oh, that's right, but what about the glitches? Well, honestly, and this is not me being biased at all, I haven't run into a lot of glitches. I know, I've played the Xbox 360 version, which is the best version, so play the Xbox 360 version. It's not just Sonic 06, a lot of third-party games don't run that well or look that good on the PS3. Don't go hunting for the glitches or doing things you know are gonna cause things. Just play the game how it was meant to be played, and it won't be an issue. I don't understand why people get upset at this. Is it that bad? I love Sonic 06, and I don't really care what anybody says. And you shouldn't either. When I was a kid, I used to be afraid to say I really liked this game. It was such a big part of my childhood, but knowing that everybody hated it, I felt like it wasn't welcome. But now that this cringe culture or people having to follow the status quo is slowly breaking down, I feel like more people are allowed to appreciate it. It's not a perfect game. I recognize that. But you can like whatever you want, and that's fine. And for me, that's liking the worst Sonic game ever made. Love what you love. Hate what you hate. Don't let anybody discourage you from liking what you like. But also, don't be a contrarian just to be a contrarian. It doesn't make you cool. Disliking popular things and liking unpopular things isn't gonna make you get any, you know what. Just stop caring what others say. This game is, get this, over 15 years old. It's an outdated game, and honestly, I think that outdatedness has made the game better by today's standards. I love Sonic 06, alright? Does that make me weird? Yeah, a little bit, I guess, but who cares?
And that was Ricardo. His favorite game is Sonic 06, so I thought bringing him on would do some justice to the game. But in conclusion of today's video, Sonic 06, while not being the best it could have been, still did a lot of great things, and we can learn a lot from it. Everyone else will never forget Sonic 06 for its failures, but us as Sonic fans will never forget Sonic 06 for the amount of ambition and passion that the game had. Even the Sonic Twitter knows it. We will never forget Sonic 06. Welcome to the end of the video, guys. If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like because it helps this video get out there, and I worked really hard on it, and I'd just pretty much appreciate it. So yeah, make sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe. I'm going to be making a lot more videos like this because I kind of like the short video essays. I think it's a lot more entertaining than my discussion videos, and I can get them out a lot faster than, say, my big reviews for the games. I do have my next big review being planned. I'm going to be releasing that hopefully soon. Just know it's going to be taking a long time because I like to do those videos as high quality as I can. So yeah, that's that, and I just wanted to shout out my channel members. This list is getting really long, so just bear with me. Sinks, I hope I pronounced that right. FW Chaos, Sonic Extreme, Super Saiyan Sonic, Just Kidding and Kidding, The Loganator, JNextV, Sonopedia, Scape, Sonic Pip, and Sonic Fan. You guys are so awesome. I appreciate you guys a lot. You guys help out with this video a ton. I can't appreciate your guys' support enough. You guys are really cool. Anybody else who is cool, you should follow my Twitter. Over there you can talk to me or see my current opinions about the franchise. I also just wanted to thank Ricardo, also known as SpeedSuperSonic, for helping me make this video. He's a really cool guy. I'm pretty sure you guys already know about him, but if you don't, go follow him down below. He's a pretty cool guy. Finally, make sure to join the Discord server down below. We are a very supportive community when it comes to art, so if you make art, make sure to come and join. We love seeing what you guys create. And if you don't make art, we're still a really active community that you can talk to about what your favorite Sonic games are and whatnot. We aren't a very hostile community, so you won't get attacked for your opinions. Finally, the VCs tend to be active and I join in sometimes, so if you want to talk to me or some other awesome people, make sure to join. Anyways, I love you guys. Adios.